resolution someone mentioned here in his maiden speech in the National Assembly of Pakistan, he also announced that FCR, that is Frontier Crimes Regulation, has to be abolished. He declared it that it is abolished, but it is still functional. So neither the Pakistani president nor the Pakistani Prime Minister is powerful enough who have the mandate of the people to promulgate whatever their assembly or the mandate is saying.
May I ask you sort of a wrap-up question, more broader, because you've been dealing with the students for such a long time. Now, how would you characterize the city of Peshawar? Is it, and the students there who are studying there, are they more radicalized today? Or were they more radicalized? What impact has had this 9/11 and the consequent war, questionable war?
Actually, they were not born in 9/11 or after 9/11. The saga of extremism for Pashtun boys and girls begins right in 1977 somewhere, and then it was somehow it flourished with the help of the establishment of Pakistan, the so-called free world of that time, including the European Union of that time and the United States of America, when they started a war in Afghanistan to bleed the Soviets till last Afghan or till last Pashtun maybe, and they were successful enough to drive the Soviets out of Afghanistan, but the Homo sapien they created at that time, which they now call jihadi, which they don't like, but that was created at that time. That Homo sapien which was not doing anything except destroying schools, health centers, killing school teachers. They were carrying a manual prepared by CIA at that time, like do it yourself, how to destroy a vehicle, how to destroy a school, how to destroy a health center, and many other things, and all sorts of so-called NGOs of that time. Peshawar was a spy city, the greatest spy city at that time, and the greatest center of NGOs, which was somehow enabling the very secular Pashtun traditions mingling into Islamic jihad of that time, and bringing all sorts of people from Egypt and many other countries, including Usamas of that time, into Peshawar and then Afghanistan to fight the godless communists of Soviet Union. So that jihad or that Islam is the version which was propagated at that time and liked by them as well. So our youth was trained at that time, and the course books and the job interviews at that time included passages of Quran, and you had to be knowing Dua Qanun and many other Arabic texts if you wanted to have a government job or even a lectureship. And the progressive intelligentsia of that time, including myself, were ousted many times from the universities and institutes and colleges in the name of being Pashtun nationalist or Democrats or socialist or something else or what else. So that milieu actually created that extremism, and otherwise in Pashtun tradition you had the political movement there had been of Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, which was a non-violent movement altogether, which was not interested in violence. Plus the political tradition of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and the PFP at that time had been such that during the movement for creation of Pakistan, no rioting happened there except a small incident in Peshawar, which were orchestrated at that time by the administrator of Peshawar, that is DC of Peshawar of that time, which had been a protege of the Englishmen. Otherwise, the tradition had been non-violent, although much literature written by the Western Orientalist is somehow promoting chivalry and badal, that is revenge and things like that. Despite all that, the Pashtun tradition had been more peaceful and more progressive and secular. But that was a problem, internal need, as Musharraf says, Pakistani establishment needed. It was scared of Pashtun nationalism. Even speaking in Pashto or promoting Pashto was somehow considered something as an act of treason or separatism. So they somehow found an opportunity at that time when Afghan jihad was to be started by the West to bleed Russians, and they destroyed the identity which was a secular Pashtun identity there and the identity which the Afghan Pashtun had, and they promoted an Islamic identity there. And that not only a simple Islamic identity, but a jihadi Islamic identity. And for that, plenty of resources, intellectual and monetary resources, were allocated and distributed, used. And that's why that new human being, like the Soviets wanted a new Chilavik, that is a new Soviet man. Here they wanted to fight that new Soviet man, and other man, which was an Islamic man, a jihadi man. So that was a contest of two superpowers, two systems of that time, and the caught between these two systems and these two exemplary human beings was that area and the people of that area, which were peace-loving, poor, deprived, and of course, that led to a frame of reference which you now say is frame of isolation, of alienation, of violence, of extremism, and all these things. So probably now greater effort is required. The effort to make people jihadi was easier, pumping money and resources and giving them training and arms. But now bringing them back to a normal human being which is peaceful and which is productive